Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to part 28 of What If Naruto Went With Itachi. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share it to all of your friends on your social media platform, and I posted a new episode of What If Naruto Was an Osusuke. It's really interesting, so go ahead and check it out and enjoy. And on my second channel, I posted a new episode of Uchiha Naruto the Sage, so go and check that out and enjoy as well. And if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice, before you watch this video, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join the anime king family, and thank you for your support and your help and be a part of the channel. So yeah, without further ado, let's get straight into it. Start the intro. You can change. You satisfy the rage in me. Take away my pain. You satisfy the rage in me. So the last time we left off, Nagato died and the sixth pain fell as well. Not because of anyone battling him or trying to kill him or anything, but just because of him using the Rinnegan too much. It was too much for his body and he ended up dying. Sakura also saw Naruto as she couldn't believe it. Naruto was supposed to be dead. So after that, we have a 3-year time skip. Sakura became a Jonin, Sasuke as well. Right now, Tsunade is sending out Sakura, Sasuke, Itachi, and Kisame on a mission. So yeah, that was basically the last part we left off, but you guys can go ahead and switch across to the playlist and enjoy. So let's get this new episode started. It had taken 2 days to get there, and when they got there it was night. So they got a hotel. Sasuke and Sakura already used to share a room. They shared a room while Itachi and Kisame took a room for themselves. Everyone get their own beds. In a different location, about 10 miles east, Naruto was sitting beside a fire as he was looking up in the sky. He only had 1 night left before reuniting with Sakura. He then chuckled as something under his coat was moving as he patted it on his head. The next morning, Sakura had woken up before Sasuke, who was snoring. Believe it or not, she got up and went to take a shower. After she finished her shower and got fully dressed, she realized that Sasuke was still asleep. So she went and got some cold ice water and threw it on him. He spluttered as he wiped the cold ice water from his face, as Sakura blinked innocently and tried to hide the bucket as she went outside to go and meet Kisame and Itachi, so they could talk to the mayor of this town and find out where the rogue bandits were at. They needed to take care of them soon. They were losing supply to the village, and if they did not take care of them sooner, Tsunade was going to get pissed because she was not getting her sake, because the bandits were stopping it from coming to the Leaf village. Once all of them were ready, they went to the mayor's house to talk to the man. Itachi walked up to the brown oak door and they knocked. They waited. After a minute, the door answered. A man walked out wearing brown khaki pants, a white shirt, and he was wiping his face as his blonde hair fell around his face and his shoulder. He was about 5'9" and had a light complexion. When he saw their forward protectors, he smiled. "So, it looks like our help is here," the man said. "I asked for that mission 4 days ago. It took you guys a little time to find it. Well, I guess it is the village hidden in the leaf. Well, come on in." The group stared at the man, as he don't even look older than 20, and he was the mayor. After they were led inside of the house, they got into a living room with a couch and 2 other chairs. Kisame and the mayor took the chairs, and Sasuke, Sakura, and Itachi took the couch. "Alright everyone, my name is Shishi, and I called you all here to take care of the rogue bandits. They have been attacking carriers going to Konoha and been stealing women and childs. Also, the food, iron, the farmer's tool, weapons, and the sake. We have tried many things to stop them, but we have been unable to. I have no idea where they're located, due to the fact that they move around every day. If they do have a base, it is well hidden. Maybe a genjutsu, I do not know. I was never trained as a ninja, as you guys have been, said Shishi. So I ask you, no, I beg you, please try and save the families, the children and the women, if they are still alive, and take care of the ninjas. Shishi said, well, Mr. Mir, we will do everything in our power to get back all of the people if they are still there, and we will stop these bandits, said Sakura. About 20 minutes later, the team quickly found out why the place was called Black Wolf Village, as it was surrounded by black wolves, some grey one and some white one here and there. Finally, after hours of searching and the sun was about to set, they found a base camp that was indeed hidden by a genjutsu. But they couldn't do nothing at this point. It was getting too dark, so they made camp a mile away. Staying in the dark, Sasuke was the first one to take watch as the others went and get some sleep. About 3 miles away, Naruto was walking again, as he had a precious package and he didn't want it to get harmed. He had his coat over it, so no one could see what it was. He was looking up at the sky. He almost reached the others. The next morning, everyone was at their spot as they were on the intercom. Is everyone ready? Itachi asked. Yes, ready to attack, all of them said. Alright you guys, you attack on my command. No sooner or later, Itachi said as he whispered in his own earpiece. All of them were circled around the small camp that belonged to the bandits. It held many people, but it was still small. None of them wanted to get caught. That is why they placed a genjutsu. They were being very careful and smart. Itachi was slightly impressed with them. Now he was in fully ninja mode and it was mid-morning, perfect time to attack. As the guards, the watchout were about to change. Now, attack with Phoenix Fire, Sasuke, Itachi ordered. Flames shoot out from opposite side of the camp, shattering the genjutsu and burning the tents. Screams were heard and yells of commands were heard as well. Itachi watched for a second and then sent the signal. A fireball flies straight through the camp, destroying 7 tents and ninjas. Sakura, Kisame and Sasuke all jumped in, taking out several ninjas. Sakura then sent chakra down to her fist and slammed it into the ground, destroying it. Different ninjas went flying into the air and landed on their feet or their faces. Kisame was swinging his sword around, slashing, threading, and absorbing all manner of chakra. As he laughed as he let the blood fly. Itachi was taking out ninjas, slashing throats and their vital points. He ran through the crowd looking for the leader. He would know who he is when he see him instantly. Sasuke was just slashing like Kisame because he had gotten bloodthirsty for enemies after Kisame teach him a bit in Kenjutsu. As he hung out with Kisame too much, as he was smiling as he took the lives of the enemies. He was really enjoying seeing the blood flying everywhere. Up in the tree, Crimson Eyes were watching everything as Naruto laughed as he saw the new personalities of his friends. As he saw Sakura punch a man and he flied away, she has gotten really strong. He laughed as he watched Itachi found the leader and started to fight him, as Itachi had the Anvu level man dead within a few minutes. He frowned though when he saw Itachi grab at his eye, as he winced in pain for a moment. He then popped a pill and then went back to the fighting. Itachi was sick, thought Naruto. As Naruto stood there watching the battle, he then shifted as something moved in his coat again, as he had to make sure that nothing happened to the little one in his cloak. He then quickly turned around as he heard a scream. As he saw Sakura, she was on her back, she was in danger, she needed help. Sakura, Kisame, Itachi, and Sasuke yelled as they wanted to help, but they were still surrounded by ninja. Not a lot, but enough to keep them in their place. Sakura would be on her own and they would be unable to help for some time until it is too late. Sakura was in tremendous pain, a cut on her forehead, blood run down her face. She looked up at the man who had sneaked up on her. She had been too late to realize until she turned around, but he had already struck her. He was very big, almost the size of a bear. He had snuck up on her when she was fighting one of the Anvu level ninja. And when she turned around, he slammed the blunt end from the kunai right into her forehead. The man then grabbed both of her hands with one hand. "I will have some fun with you," he said as he stuck out his tongue and laughing insanely. He then went down to unbuckle her pants. She closed her eyes, but suddenly, she was dropped back down to the ground as she could hear someone screaming out in pain right beside her. It was the same man. As she opened her eyes to see someone standing in front of her, as he was wearing a cloak. About 6 feet tall he was, the same height as Sasuke and Itachi. As she saw the back of his head and his hair was red, as she could hear a growl come from him. She was sure that if she could see the front of his face, she would see the whisker marks and glowing crimson eyes. He didn't look at her at the moment. He was concentrating on the man in front of him, the one who had dared try to do that to Sakura. Itachi, Sasuke, and Kisame had come up to Sakura, but the figure was in front of them. As Sakura then whispered out, "Naruto?" Sakura stared at Naruto's back as she couldn't believe that he was here at the moment. But this wasn't the time for a romantic reunion. She could tell that he was pissed off because of the growling. Naruto undid his cloak as he jumped out of it, as the cloak fell on the ground and covered what was inside of it. Something was moving. Even though she could only see his back, she knew that it was Naruto, but she still couldn't see his face. She watched him rush at the man in front of him, tearing him to pieces within seconds. Nothing was left but flesh and pieces of chunks. After he was done, he turned to Sakura, who smiled at seeing his face. As she saw his yellow bangs, his splitted eyes, the whisker marks. He was wearing a vest with a black fishnet shirt underneath it, with normal Anvu black pants and boots. Sakura smiled gently as he moved towards her, helping her stand, and then pulled her into a hug. As he put his arms around her waist, she had her hands clutching onto his shirt, as she couldn't believe that he was here, holding her now. "Sakura, you're hurt. Let me heal you." As she watched him reach up, as his hand glowed green, he placed his hand on her forehead, and the headache and the cut was gone instantly. "Well, I think your mission is complete. Let us return to Konoha," Naruto said, as he released her and went back over to his cloak. Sakura watched as he kneeled down in front of it, as if he was speaking to someone inside. He then put the cloak back on, and the thing that was inside was never revealed. He went back over to Sakura, and at this point, Sasuke, Kisame, and Itachi had moved to her side. All of them stared at Naruto, who was at the same height as Sasuke. "Well, it looks like the brat is back," Kisame said as he ruffled Naruto's hair. "Good to see you, dope," Sasuke said as he reached out a hand. Naruto smiled and took it as he shook hands with Sasuke. "Naruto, you have grown greatly," Itachi said as everyone looked at him and then looked back at Naruto. "Itachi," Naruto said as he looked at Itachi and frowned and looked back away. "We need to move before it gets dark." "You have done your mission. Let's get going," Naruto said as he began to walk to the direction of Konoha. Itachi then spoke again. "No, Naruto, we must return to this village." And then we will return to Konoha, said Itachi, as Naruto turned and looked at him. Naruto sighed and nodded as the bulge in his cloak only kept on moving. As Sakura stood there, everyone was acting so calm and normal, like Naruto didn't vanish for so long. She wanted answers and know what the hell was going on. But she didn't want to bring up the subject yet, at least he was back. And she also sensed the tension between Itachi and Naruto, knowing that the both of them hate each other after Naruto's so-called death. Well, Naruto hated Itachi. Itachi only wanted the best for Naruto. They walked for about 2 minutes as they heard a scream. Sakura, I will be right back. Make sure nothing happened to the child in my cloak, said Naruto as he handed Sakura the cloak and she took it. As she felt the heaviness, she removed the cloak as Itachi, Sasuke and Kisame ran behind Naruto to investigate what was going on. As Sakura saw, the baby peeked out his eyes. A child? Said Sakura as she was stunned. Meanwhile, Naruto and Sasuke, Itachi and Kisame had reached over to another camp. It was much smaller than the one earlier and it was hidden in a genjutsu as well. Naruto quickly released the genjutsu as he was horrified at what he saw. Dozens of women and children were chained down to the ground. Naruto walked over to one of the women as she was in ragged clothes. As she looked up at him. What do you want? You want to rape me? Go to hell, you stupid bastard, she said. You will not get anything from me, as she spat at him. Naruto looked down at her. No, I am not here to rape you. Well, I am actually here to save you. But if you don't want me to, well, you can just stay here and rot. As Naruto turned back and started to walk away. As Kisame, Itachi and Sasuke caught up to him. Naruto, what are you doing? These are the women and childs who were taken from their village, Itachi said in a calm voice as he walked up to the woman. Naruto simply shrugged his shoulder. As he walked away, he didn't care. She thought that I was going to rape her. If so, then I will leave it to you guys, said Naruto. I am going back to Sakura. And with that, Naruto disappeared and heading back to Sakura, who was waiting for him 2 minutes away. Itachi then turned back to the woman. Now, we will get you all out of here and you will return back to your home, Itachi said. As Sasuke and Kisame went over to help as well, as he released all of them from their bonds and to lead them back to the village. All the while, Itachi thought the way Naruto acted towards him, as he knew that Naruto still didn't trust him to the way that he acted back then. Itachi sighed as he had a long road in front of him if he was to get back Naruto's trust. Back with Sakura, she looked at the small child in the cloak as she saw green eyes. Hey there, what's your name? She sighed as she was met with silence. She then kneeled down to be on eye level with the child. Are you scared of me? Sakura asked as she looked into the child's eyes. She sighed again, only inches away from the cloak and the child. She sat there for a few minutes, waiting for the child to talk. Suddenly, she heard the bushes and quickly went into ninja mode as she stood in front of the child as she pulled out a kunai. As Naruto came from the bushes, Hey Sakura, thank you for watching her. I didn't really want to leave her behind. As Naruto realized that she still had up the kunai, she still didn't believe that it was him. Ninjas could have used the henjutsu and transformed into him. He sighed as he looked her in the eye and said one word, Cherry. And with that, Sakura blushed as she put the kunai away. I thought that we promised that we will never mention that incident, Sakura said as she stood up fully. Naruto laughed at her for a moment before calming down. I know, but I needed to convince you that it was me, Naruto said as he moved forward towards her. He then crouched down in front of the child, hidden in his cloak. It's time we get going. We don't want to stay out here much longer. He then pulled his cloak on without revealing any of the child, only her face was showing. The others will meet us at the village, Sakura. Let's go, Naruto said, as Sakura nodded and walked beside Naruto. After a while, they made it back. As they reached at the village, Naruto looked around. Come on, Naruto, we need to go to the mayor's house, said Sakura. Naruto looked at Sakura with a raised eyebrow. What are you talking about, we? I know we're dating and everything, but I'm not technically on this mission. I am not going with you. But I will find you when it's time to leave, or if you're staying at a hotel, Naruto said, and with a swift kiss to Sakura's cheek, he was gone. Sakura didn't say anything because she had a lot of things on her mind. Lot of things she needed some answers for. She went to the mayor's house. As she saw, the group already arrived. As Sasuke looked around, hey, where's Naruto? He said that he didn't need to meet up here with us. He said he would be with us if we go to a hotel or when we're going back home, Sakura said as they moved towards the house. Back with Naruto, he had the little 5-year-old girl in his arms as she fell asleep. As he looked down at her face, he couldn't believe that it has been 3 years. As he then felt something, as he started to cough violently as he put his hand over his mouth as the coughing continued. When it ended, Naruto looked at his hand and it was covered in blood. He knew that he was in trouble. This coughing had started a year ago. Just regular coughing, so he ignored it, but they began to increase and pain him. Now it was getting worse. He knew that he didn't have much time, but he smirked as he knew that no one would have to worry about the Kyuubi anymore. That was an upside to the entire thing, but he knew that he has a lot of explaining to do. But guys, I'm going to be ending this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends on your social media platform. Turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But yeah, I'm all for now, guys. Peace.